did you see these housewarming gifts I brought you? A foam mattress, a plant even you can't kill, and something to get your bar situation started.
That's what I'm talking about.
When I roll up, looking hella fine.
Hey, Trina, can
We got squirrels in the walls.
Which wall?
They're having babies. Girl, do something.
Okay, yeah.
Great meeting, and Torian, so passionate.
Don't worry about Torian. They didn't teach modesty at Morehouse. Welcome to the team.
Ooh, my high school rap journal.
Come here for your like a rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat.
That was a good one.
I bet they wanna, but ain't nobody do it like me.
Hey, we are back to talk about episode 3, Backwards Like. We are ready to wind down with our special guest this week, Alon Noel, who you guys all know as Daniel.
Oh, you get over the shoulder? With the Z. Okay, I like that.
So one of the things that we want to explore with Daniel, obviously this season, is can Daniel make up his mind? He wants Issa in, he wants Issa out. Sort of what was that like for you from a character perspective to explore?
I think Daniel wants Issa in. I mean, he's clear with that. It's just Issa is much more depth at compartmentalizing than Daniel is. Daniel knows what he wants, and he goes for what he wants.
One of the things that we loved in the room was like, what do they give to each other?
Well, for one, they're both like struggling in their careers, and I think Issa thought Daniel was more advanced in her career than in his career than she was, and I think we saw some of that in episode 2. It's just like, you had a track with Ty Dolla $ign, you've been killing the game, and so to be exposed to his insecurities was one thing. But this specific episode, we got a chance to see what Daniel's flaws are once and for all.
I think what's so interesting too about Daniel is there's these two sides of Daniel that exist, which are the side that Daniel, and I think that's all of us with our insecurities, show one side of us and then show what we're really thinking. And I think episode 2, Daniel goes, he kind of has a moment with Khalil and he says, I got good, but Khalil got famous. And I think with Issa in the scene in the restaurant, he basically says, we're all cool and all that's fine, but at the end of the day, who are you to judge me on your career? Like, you're basically a mess and I have to always save you. And I think that was such a great moment to understand, oh, maybe this is why they theoretically would not work as a couple, because in some way he always sees her as a certain way.
Honestly, I don't feel like he really felt that he sees her as a mess or that he was trying to save her. I just think in that moment what he needed her to be was sort of what he's been for her, which is a support, you know, and especially in that particular moment, given the circumstances and the frustrations around that moment, he wanted her to sort of be able to do what, you know, what he's been able to do for her, which is like say, you know, I think that just to hear him out a little bit more. It was that he was speaking facts.
We can argue about this all day. They're speaking truth.
Yeah.
There's a thing of just like, I know what you're struggling with. I know what you're most concerned about, and I'm just gonna feed that back to you because I'm hurt. I'm gonna lash out at you because I'm hurt, and because they go back such a long time, he knows that. He's seen that. He's observed that.
People say dumb stuff sometimes that they don't necessarily mean.
True.
Which I think is
which was just kind of like what Issa and Daniel have always had.
And I think that's what it comes down to. It's just like they will always have that thing of just like, I'm gonna hurt you where it hurts the most. I'm gonna hit you where it hurts the most, and that's kind of why they know each other's sensitivities. They know each other's insecurities, and I feel like because they're always armed with that ammo, they won't be able to work in that way.
There's a lot of unprocessed emotion. Like,
yeah.
Go back to season 1, what she said to him about being a scratch that, you know, I don't even remember because I'm trying to have cognitive dissonance. As far as that,
I'll bring it back as the issue is trying to scratch.
Well, you just re-traumatized me, but it's cool. So, you know, that was the thing that kind of was an expression of, she didn't really mean that, I don't think. Hopefully not, did you?
I don't think so, because she came back to his couch.
Right.
So this is like the first real chance where she's like, we have an opportunity to explore this relationship and we're in such a good place. But her friends see it otherwise.
The Mollys, the Kellys, the Tiffanys of the world, are they in a position to give plausible advice, or is it bias?
See, you almost convinced me that you already I'm like, fuck my friends.
Not even
But no, I understand in that way, but they also they've heard the story.
They've heard the story of Issa and Daniel within the context of Lawrence. So now that we've removed
within the context of Issa. Within the context of Issa, like, there's this guy that I know that I've always, especially Molly. Molly knows the history from jump and knows what it's done. And I think they're just looking out for her because they know that relationship.
Are Issa and Daniel holding on to the idea of who they were then back in high school or who they are now. And I think that's what's really interesting is that's part of the adulting thing that we talked about for the season of, am I holding on to a fantasy or an ideal that is my childhood version of this relationship versus the adult version of this relationship? So it's nice to see sort of where this might go. So everybody, thank you for joining us this week. We can't wait to see how this season plays out for your favorite characters. And we will see you next time, guys. Cheers.
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 Cheers. Cheers.
There we go. Mwah.
Is that real alcohol?
Absolutely. What? Ain't no fraudulence in
Just Daniel drinks a lot of fruity stuff.
berries.